Okay, is Sonny Vaccaro there? Sonny, are you with us?
Maggie, I'm here waiting for you two guys.
Oh,
You
my
ready?
gosh, we're here, we're live, we're on the air. Sonny Vaccaro is a legendary sports marketing executive and so much more than that. Sonny, Perloff and I, we saw the movie Air. We thought it was amazing. What's it like when Matt Damon plays you in a film?
Young lady, what's it like? I mean, my goodness, like somebody asked me Clark Gable, which I'm dating you now because I know you're not 100 years old. What I'm saying is some things in life you can't predict, but forget predict, you can't even dream about. I never thought, first of all, I never thought just kind of this movie and just, just on doing whatever happened. Matt Damon is iconic, and he's only like 5 years old. He looks like he's 12 years old now. Playing me and all the things that he's done, he's established himself as an actor, so I don't want to waste any more of your time. But I'll never forget getting involved, how I got involved, but I'll never forget that Matt, he did me good. The only person that probably I would put him up against that picked me out of the poke was my wife. Why she picked me out, I have no idea. Matt Damon, I was blessed.
So, Sonny, how accurate did you find the movie when you actually sat down and watched the whole thing? Do you feel like it told the story the right way?
Let me say, it wasn't just I watched the movie. They invited me. I spent a whole day on the set watching scenes. Mr. Goober, who owns Mandalay Bay, who's the head of this whole thing, invited me down. I didn't know they were making this movie. I didn't know till 2 weeks before, they invited me down that some young kid was writing a script about Michael Jordan, and I was included in it. Peter Goober was thing. He invited me down to his mansion in Beverly Hills right before the football playoffs when the Rams won. I had no clue. He invites me to the room. There's 17 people there. 15 of them, 2 of them were Paramount. 15 were going with his company. They told me the idea that they were going to do a show just on Jordan, and they also said up front, so your audience knows, I, as a public person, could do nothing about whatever was written. They could write with you. You know what I'm talking about, right? But they wanted me involved. But they said one thing, Sonny, we want you involved. We want you talking to everybody, but you have nothing to do with the story. They're writing it, but they want to be accurate. So they hired me to help them be accurate. I was on the set, going back to Matt Damon, as Maggie asked me about. We did an hour and a half, hour 45 minute, Zoom call. And Matt, and all his research knew a lot about me and all that. And we started a relationship that I think will last a lifetime because we spent a lot of time on the phone. But that hour and a half, we went over all the questions that was already, I imagine, in the script that they were thinking about. And he and I know. So to answer your question, a minute later, and I apologize, to answer your question, there's nothing that I said that I watched in there that didn't happen. It may not have happened the way it's described in the time frames or whatever. But there's only 9 people in this movie, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And they all controlled, those 9 people were tantamount to getting this job done. That's why it was such a close-knit unit. That story of Michael Jordan didn't go out. It wasn't talked about. No one was even thinking what we were going to do. So I hope that helped your answer.
Of course, you can watch Air. It's exclusively in theaters April 5th, and Perloff and I already saw the movie. Sonny Vaccaro is the legendary sports marketing executive and was right in the middle of all those sneaker wars. He was right in the middle of what is now known as NIL, with players getting paid for their name, image, and likeness, and was on the forefront of that battle as well. But, Sonny, when you have a movie that comes out like this, where you land Michael Jordan, and you're the hero of the movie, basically, and I got to think, though, there had to have been guys who got away, right? They weren't all winners. Was there a guy who got away who you wanted, who still haunts you today?
No, yeah, sure, LeBron James, because of Adidas. They didn't give me the money. At least we had an honest chance. I knew LeBron in high school better than any other coming. I knew he was a sophomore. Everyone knows that story, okay? And what Adidas did was lie to me. I promised LeBron James $100 million. They put down it was quite less than that. When I actually saw the thing, when they were invited out to California to get our pitch, okay, I knew everybody. So let's just say for granted, I'm telling you the truth out there. They got the wrong number. To me, they lied to me. Basically, I'm saying this on your show. Adidas didn't put on that contract, but they told me I was allowed. So just so you know, I never spent other people's money that I didn't know I had to spend. They told me I had $100 million. They didn't give me $100 million. It wasn't on a contract. We lost LeBron. We might have still lost him. I'm not saying that's guaranteed. After that, a month or two, I resigned. I got fired, I got resigned, and I quit. I worked all of it. But that was the past. The hardest one wasn't the firing. People get fired. The hardest one was being misled by Adidas that we didn't act. So losing LeBron hurt personally, but apparently it didn't hurt personally to Adidas because they're still on their rear ends.
Sonny, was there a player that you were so sure was going to be great on the opposite end who actually did not turn out to be that good of a player?
No. No. And there were a lot of players that I knew that I thought would be better than what they were. Unfortunately, some of the kids that I knew, their careers and their Hall of Fame, things that could have happened in the future, they got killed, they got mixed up in other things. But your question was the ability. I never bet, what like Jordan. I mean that sincerely. I never did. And we go back to, I was very involved with Kevin Garnett. When he asked me, I wasn't totally involved. I really wasn't, that he just helped me for 2 years. Or he transferred to high school in Chicago, as you guys know. I was very close to him. And I was important in what he did. He made his own decision, obviously. Obviously, everybody knows the story of Kobe and Tracy and Jermaine, which I did right after that. And then LeBron. Then, I had faith in Brandon Jennings. That was just as big in a different way when I helped him go to Europe. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think he could do it. And if he was a failure, you guys know, especially where you're located, I was run on the carpet for a long time. In fact, there are a lot of big-time writers and reporters that, made fun of me. Some professional people did. Brandon, until he got hurt, was pretty goddamn good. So when you ask me that question, I've never been ashamed. I've never spent somebody's money that they didn't at least get a chance to make it good for them.
Sonny Vaccaro is our guest, a legendary sports marketing executive. He's now played by Matt Damon in the new movie Air, which Perloff and I already saw, and it's excellent. It's in theaters April 5th. You mentioned about different things that can happen, Sonny, when you are putting your weight behind a player like John Morant we just saw in the NBA. Nike's obviously made him a really big part of their marketing campaign, but then he gets suspended for 8 games by the league. What's going on behind the scenes at a sneaker company when something like that happens?
We have some of those things happen. They've happened in front of our eyes. The Kaepernick thing, it happens. The Yee thing and all that stuff. Companies may think that. I want to say to you and your audience, I can't be the conscience of other people. I'm not going to try to make a decision, but I do know that there's a failure somewhere. It's got to be about principle as much. It's got to be about, in my eyes, this is the only time I'm not trying to be the martyr anybody, and please don't take that away. But I think character means a lot. I think your word means a lot. Also, thinking doing stupid things mean a lot. Companies that stay with them, I admire them. Nike has a history of staying with people that sometimes do whatever wasn't right or wasn't wrong. I have no idea. I don't want to speak specifically, but there's an obligation too on the player. I pray to Ja because he has a chance to be unbelievable. It happens. The kids in college that have some problems while we're playing the NCAA things. I don't know what makes people do stupid things in their life. And I'm not answering for them, and I'm not blaming anybody. But there is an obligation somewhere to principle. That's what I can say. But can I say this on your program?
Sure, we got about a minute left. Yeah.
One of the things I went through, I lived to outlive some of the kids I believe. Ben Wilson would in my mind, the kid that got murdered, remember that, out of high school. I saw him at our ABCD camp. I made a relationship with him on the phone. I never got to know him. That, to me, is a tragedy. Yep. He never had a chance to live a life. He was murdered. I remember those kids, too. I'm not trying to be a martyr on your show, and I want your audience to understand it. But you asked me a very important question. I think the only thing we can do in the world today is just try and be as good as we can in what we do and maybe long to be great. But I don't think you can be great if somewhere along the line, because of what you choose to do, differs on the path that you want to achieve. I think it's harder to like do things that are stupid. And I don't know if that even makes sense. But
Sonny, it does. It does. We completely understand. We can't tell you how much we appreciate you taking time out to talk with us. We could do an hour interview with you. We wish we had more time. Thank you so much for doing it, and congratulations on the movie. We know this is going to be a smashing success.
Yeah, congrats. The movie's great.
Thank you both. And let me say this. I love to talk. If you ever have an hour, even if we're not on the radio, give me a call.
We're going to call you. We're going to call you, Sonny. We'd love to take you out to lunch or something. Sonny Vaccaro, you can watch Air. It's exclusively in theaters on April 5th. Matt Damon plays Sonny Vaccaro.